The need to protect and preserve wildlife is increasing, and that puts more demands on the people who do just that. Zookeepers.
That's right. News 13's Victoria Dunkle is streaming live from the WNC Nature Center for National Zookeepers Week. Victoria, they really do deserve special recognition.
They do. They're superheroes in my book because they're the ones who help make sure we can enjoy the beauty of nature, the wildlife that in some cases really is threatened through disease, through development, and so many other things. But you know what? We're going to start the morning with the most important meal of the day. Sarah Miller is one of the animal care specialists here at the Nature Center, and it's time to get breakfast ready for one of our favorites here, the otters.
That's right, the otters. So the otters eat a little bit of a mix. They'll get some trout. We try to give them a little bit of sweet potato, although sometimes they refuse it, and then they get their meatballs, which they absolutely love as well.
So they're real carnivores, aren't they?
They definitely are. Yeah, they are very much carnivore, and they do eat a little bit of vegetation in the wild, so that's why we give them the vegetables, but they definitely prefer their meat. They love it.
So what do we have to do? Obviously, we're wearing gloves so we don't contaminate their food.
Definitely. For our safety and for theirs, we do wear gloves. And so what we'll do is we'll do the fish here in a minute. We'll start with some meatballs and we'll weigh it out for them. So we weigh it out for them so that we're sure that they get the same exact amount every day, and then that's good for them.
Okay. So you actually are monitoring their caloric intake.
We do.
As well.
We don't want them to start to, gain a little bit of weight.
Well, so you're always watching out for them. So meatball making time.
Meatball making.
How many otters are here now?
We've got 2 otters. We've got Obie and Olive. So they'll each get a meatball in the morning and a meatball in the evening.
Okay. And there are 6 people on staff here who are doing things like this, taking care of the animals all the time.
That's true. Yeah, we've got 6 animal staff members.
What would happen if we didn't have zoos taking the steps like this to care for these animals?
To care for the animals? Well, they would go without food.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the Nature Center especially, works so much with conservation of the animals. And we specifically work with Southern Appalachian animals. And so what we do is we house them here in order for guests to get a good appreciation of the nature around them.
And we're going to get an even better appreciation of that nature around us in the next half hour when we talk about a few games they get to play. Yeah, it's actually good for the animals, so we'll show you how they get a little enrichment in our next half hour. Reporting live in Asheville, Victoria Dunkle, News 13.
Raising wild animals in captivity brings a special set of challenges.
This morning, News 13's Victoria Dunkle is streaming live from the WNC Nature Center for National Zookeepers Week. And Vic, what are some of the tools that the zookeepers use to actually keep all those critters thriving?
Well, just a few minutes ago, you saw us making up some otter breakfast. Now it's time to keep the animals excited about just everything that goes on in their lives. Sarah Miller and I have been talking about this. This is what you call your enrichment program. And what does enrichment do for the animals?
Enrichment provides them an opportunity to use their senses, to go out and forage or to find different smells in their habitat that they would kind of naturally do that we have to simulate in their habitats here.
Because otherwise there's a danger of them becoming almost too tame and too dependent.
Yeah, you want to keep them kind of up and about, get a little bit of exercise, wander around their enclosure, just like they normally would do in the wild.
So how do you do that?
We simulate it by a couple of different things.
I like this one.
We use amazing, paper towel tubes, toilet paper tubes, things that we would normally throw away or recycle. And one of their favorites is actually wool. We shear our sheep here on ground twice a year, and we use the wool from our own sheep to kind of simulate their senses. So we'll stuff them in paper towel tubes, and the wolves get a kick out of it. They go in, they rip it apart. It's fun for them.
Of course the wolves would love to find it.
It's a good thing.
It's just a little bit
Just a little bit of wool. Yeah. So we spread it out throughout the year to all the different animals.
What about this here?
So we use boomer balls, big, thick, very hard plastic balls. So this is something that we would give to, say, the otters. And what we can do is we can take this fish that we chopped up earlier, and we can place it in there, and so they have to play around, roll figure out how to get it out. So it takes them a lot longer to eat, so that they are active a lot longer.
Interesting indeed. This is crucial because we're looking not to just keep these animals here in an enclosure, to really help them thrive in what would be as close to a natural setting as possible. It's an effort to protect and conserve, and it's paying off here at the Nature Center. You can find out more about it at our website, WLOS.com. Click on the news links and we'll get you set that way. Coming up, we're going to take a look at some other things. Operant training?
Operant conditioning. Training our animals, yeah.
I don't know what that means. Big words, but great results. Reporting live in Asheville, Victoria Dunkle, News 13.
Much for that. Caring for the creatures that call our mountains home takes some very special effort. News 13's Victoria Dunkle is streaming live at the WNC Nature Center, learning what it takes to be a zookeeper. All right, so Vic, what are you doing this time?
Well, we've already made food for them. We set up some games, some stimulation for them so they really kind of feel like they were actually out in the wild. Now the question is, when it's time to give them a checkup, how do you get a bear to open up and say, well, Sarah Miller from the Nature Center says she has a plan for that.
We do. So we use what is called operant conditioning. So it's all positive reward system.
Oh, okay.
So you find out what the animal likes, first of all. So in the case of bears, ours love sweet potatoes. Like the otters, they love them, so you reward them with sweet potatoes when they do the right thing.
So we're in front of a crate that would be something that would be used
exactly
when they're getting ready to go for a
checkup. Getting ready to go for a checkup. Okay. We do a lot of like target positioning, and what we want to do is just get them comfortable with it for the most part. And then so you start out and you do step-by-step progress. You just put the crate in there with them, let them get used to the smell so that they're not freaked out by it to start with, and then you go step by step and progress them into the crate.
Now this pole you were talking about, that's the target element, right?
So it's a target. So what we do is we'll have the animal touch its nose and give them a reward immediately so that they know that that is a good thing and that's what we want them to do.
That's really cool. So the bear would come up, you touch that, you give him a sweet potato. The otter, maybe a piece of fish.
Give him a piece of fish,
this size crate, what kind of animal is going to go in here?
This actually was made specifically for the otters. We could, it's a little bit long. You'd use a little bit of a shorter one. You try to make it size specific. If you're doing raccoons, it would be smaller. We have some large crates for the wolves and bears and whatnot.
How often do they have to have a checkup?
Once a year. We do annuals once a year.
All right.
For every animal.
Very cool. So coming up, we're going to take a look at a little bit more of the excitement that is all about being a zookeeper. You know, we would have a lot of animals disappearing from the planet without the work of folks like Sarah and the great team here. So what would it take to be a zookeeper? If you like the idea of that job, I'll tell you in our next half hour. Reporting live in Asheville, Victoria Dunkle, News 13.
Every day, the efforts of a special group of people help keep animals from disappearing from the planet.
News 13's Victoria Dunkle has been streaming live from the WNC Nature Center for National Zookeepers Week. And Victoria, these folks definitely deserve our thanks.
Yeah, it's so true. There are animals that we get to enjoy and we've actually seen come back from the brink of extinction thanks to the work of people like Sarah Miller and other zookeepers all across the country. Sarah has been teaching us what it takes to keep them fed, keep them, stimulated and growing in their enclosures here. And now we're talking about what it takes to do your job. What kind of training would I need? And by the way, I'm going to see if we can find our two buddies who've been hanging out with us.
Definitely. They're down in the pool at the moment.
They're hiding from us right now.
So,
the Otters.
Schooling, definitely. Biology, any sort of science background, 4-year biology degree. And then any sort of hands-on experience. As you're, young growing up, we have a great young naturalist program here. The kids come in and spend a couple hours a day helping us with different chores around the zoo. And then just internships. And we've got a great group of interns working with us this summer. And that just helps to get so much experience. So any sort of hands-on experience that you can get and a good education is extremely helpful.
Now, when we first started this morning, we were in the kitchen. We were making breakfast for the otters here. We've got Obi-Wan and Olive, and they're over in the corner there. Hey, guys,
they're hanging out in the corner. What do you say, guys?
All right. Well, their breakfast, now normally you would give them their breakfast and that would get them out of this area. What would you be going down in there to do?
We would be going down in there to clean. So what we do with our animals, for the most part, is we shift them away from us so that we don't have to work in there with them. Because even though these otters are little, they have a big bite to them. So when we go in with them, we're very careful, but we don't do it on a daily basis.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll shift them up to the top yard while we clean out the bottom pool. And then when we go up into the top yard, we'll shift them down into the pool area where they can play around and swim.
Now, of course, the otters are the stars of the otter can.
Oh, definitely.
And that is drawing a lot of attention. It catches them down in that lower pool you were talking about. That is that Obi-Wan? Oh no, they're both up there.
Yeah, they're both up there.
I'm trying to give you your
we've got
close-up,
Obi-Wan
guys.
and Olive. Obi is a little bit bigger, and he's got a little bit more white on his chin.
That's not fighting, that's grooming,
That's grooming,
isn't it?
yeah.
Aw.
So that's social behavior that we see on a daily basis between the two of them.
And those are things you need to know if you want to be a zookeeper, right?
Definitely. Behavior, keeping an eye out, knowing what's normal and what's not.
What's the best part about your job?
Oh, it's just so much fun. Being able to come in and work with the animals and know that you're doing something good on a daily basis.
You know what? It's time for us to say thanks to the zookeepers like Sarah and everyone else here at the staff at the Nature Center. So come out and check it out. They've got great opportunities to see these animals in great environments like this. And you can see them, and if you see Sarah and the other staff, say thanks for helping make sure we don't lose beautiful creatures like this. And you can check out all the details at the website. Just go to WLOS.com. We'll link you right over. Reporting live in Asheville, Victoria Dunkle, News 13.